All right, welcome back for another baseball game of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. They hosted yesterday the Seward Saints from Liberal, Kansas, and we're scheduled for another one today. The Blue Devils won yesterday 21-0 in 7 innings, but we're back for another game today. It's a new day for baseball. The teams are each taking their warm-up in and outs and getting ready to go with this one here in about 17 minutes. Welcome to the broadcast. A little bit of information in preparation for the region baseball tournament. The 2024 NJCAA Plains District baseball tournament that will be at X Stadium in Wichita State University next week, May 15 through 19. Johnson County won their game against Pratt yesterday 8-5. Johnson was the 1 seed, Pratt the 16. Butler, the 8 seed, beat the number 9 seed Neosho County 10-0. As mentioned before, KCK beat Seward 21-0 yesterday. The Blue Devils were the 5 seed, Seward was the 12. The number 4 seed Cloud County lost to the number 13 seed 4-1 Allen County. So that first of 2 upsets that happened yesterday. Cali, the number 3 seed, beat the number 14 seed Colby 14-4. Dodge City, the 6th seed, beat Coffeyville 6-5. The number 7 seed Fort Scott lost to the number 10 seed Barton, so that was the other upset, 12-0 the score there. And then Hutchinson, the 2 seed, over the 15 seed Labette. Hutchinson won 10-0. So those were the games of interest for yesterday. The Blue Devils hosting Seward for the second game of the playoff. And let's run through the starting lineups for this game today. First for the Seward Saints, leading off the shortstop Nathan Hopkins. Batting second, the second baseman Todd Baffa. Batting third is Cameron Cartwright. He is the left fielder. Batting fourth, the designated hitter Kotaro Wakui. Batting fifth is Mason Hagelpit. He's the third baseman. Batting sixth, the right fielder Keegan Pitton. Batting seventh, the first baseman Caden Juarez. Batting eighth, the catcher Mason Gilbert. Batting ninth, Connor Rainey, the center fielder, with Trent Gerber on the mound. So it'll be Hopkins, Baffa, Cartwright, Wakui, Hagel, Pitton, Juarez, Gilbert, and Rainey for the Seward Saints. Now the starting lineup for your Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. Leading off, the second baseman, number 2, Peyton Basler. Batting second, the shortstop, number 4, Gary Goldbeck. Batting third, the catcher, number 32, Brady Patterson. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 23, Jace Woida. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 26, Frankie Santiago. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 22, Freddie Nolan the fourth. Batting seventh in right field, Marcus Dirks, number 27, in right field. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Jackson Mervosh. Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 6, Brady Kern. And on the mound for the Blue Devils, number 41, Mason Davenport. So it'll be Basler, Goldbeck, Patterson, Woida, Santiago, Nolan the fourth, Dirks, excuse me, Mervosh. About to choke on my microphone here. Mervosh and Kern with Davenport on the mound. Welcome to the broadcast. We'll be back with the start of this one here in about 13 minutes. Welcome. All right, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Mason Davenport will be on the mound for the Blue Devils. He has a 3.92 ERA, a 5-1 record on the season. He's from Tonganoxie, Kansas. He'll toe the slab on the hill for the Blue Devils. The defense behind him will be Nolan the fourth, Curtin and Dirks left to right across the outfield. Mervosh, Golbeck, Basler, Wojda left to right across the infield with Patterson behind the plate. Scheduled up for the Seward Saints will be Hopkins, Baffa, and Cartwright to get things started. 1 o'clock start time, 1 minute away. Looks like we're going to get started on time. Welcome to the broadcast, and thanks for joining me. Blue Devils won the first game yesterday, 21-0 in 7. Best 2 out of 3 earns the right to go down to play in the 2024 NJCAA Plains District Baseball Tournament. That will be at X Stadium in Wichita State University, May 15 through 19. And the Blue Devils right in the middle of getting prepared for that tournament. The KJCCC baseball standings set to have the tournament to go to that regional tournament for the right to go to the College Division I World Series of the community colleges in Grand Junction, Colorado. First up's going to be Nathan Hopkins. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. Hopkins starts the day batting .356. He'll step in to face Davenport as we get ready for the first pitch of this one. First pitch is high and inside. 1-0 the count. So we're off and going here on today's game, 9-inning scheduled game on the campus of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. There's a strike right through there inside half of the plate. 1-1 the count. Comes the 1-1. Foul ball back to the screen, so 1-2 the count. On the shortstop for the Saints, Nathan Hopkins. Breaking ball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. KCK Blue Devils against the Seward Saints. That's up high. So 3-2 the count now. First batter of the day. Top of the first inning action. Comes the 3-2. There's a pop up on the infield. Shallow center field. That's going to be taken by Basler, the second baseman. Poor job of choosing cameras on my account. That's going to bring up Todd Baffa. Baffa was 1 for 3 yesterday, had a base hit, a strikeout, and a ground out. He starts the day batting .299. Low and outside with that breaking ball. Davenport on the mound, 5-1 record, 3.92 ERA for those that did not hear the pregame parties from Tonganoxie, Kansas. There's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the first. Foul ball back to the screen. 1-2 the count. Thanks for joining the broadcast. We appreciate you. comes the 1-2. Breaking ball, swing and a miss for the strikeout. So 2 outs here in the top of the first. That's going to bring up Cartwright, the left fielder. Cartwright was 1 for 3 on the day yesterday, was called out on strikes, hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and then had a base hit. So 1 for 3. He's up there with 2 outs. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner at the belt, 0-1 the count on the left fielder, Cameron Cartwright. Foul ball back into the screen. Heater outside part of the plate, and he fouls it back. So quickly 0-2 the count on Cameron Cartwright. That's up high and outside. 1-2 the count now. Breaking ball just gets a piece of it. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Stays up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cameron Cartwright at the mound, at the plate. Swinging a miss of the high heater. So 3 up, 3 down for Davenport in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Is it real hard to keep up with when you can't look at that, or have you kind of got that part of it figured out? You can see the balls and strikes right there at the top. No, so I thought when you put it in, doesn't it show right there? That's what I meant. Yep, just barely pull it. Boy, that is a strategically placed big white cloud right now. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the first inning. On the mound for the Saints, Trent Gerber. He's from Nazareth, Texas. He has a 7.56 ERA and a 6-4 record on the season. The Blue Devils will send up Basler, Goldbeck, and Patterson. First pitch is a ball. Basler was 5 for 5 yesterday with 4 singles, a double, and a walk, and 2 RBI. There's a strike called, so 1-1 on the count. A career day for Basler. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4 with a double and 3 base hits and a walk. 2-1 the count on him. Starts the day batting .332, fouls that one away. So 2-2 the count now. Cartwright, Rainey, Pitton on the outfield. Hagel, Pitt, Hopkins, Baffa, and Juarez across the infield. The pitcher gets his glove on that and is able to underhand it. So Gerber to Juarez for the 1-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Goldbeck. Goldbeck was 2 for 4 on the day yesterday. He had a single and a 2-run home run. Starts the day batting .427. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1. 1-0 the count on the shortstop, Gary Goldbeck. There's a ball headed into the right field corner. That's going to be extra bases. And he rolls into second base with a ball into the right field corner. That's going to bring up Patterson as the sun comes back out. Goldbeck down at second base with the 1-out double. Patterson will step in. Patterson was 4 for 5 on the day yesterday. He had a double, a couple of base hits, and a home run. He starts the day batting .324. Breaking ball catches the strike zone at the belt outside half of the plate. 0-1 the count. Stretch and the 0-1 by Gerber. Check swing ruled a strike by the home plate umpire. Not going to check on it, just rings it up. We have 3 umpires yesterday and 3 today. I like that so much better than the 2. They get the field covered a lot better. 0-2 the count now on Brady Patterson, the catcher. Way outside. 1-2 the count.
This is the number 1. Oh, this is the race? Yes, sir, number 2.
That's low and inside. 2-2 the count. Gilbert wants to go out and have a word with Gerber. Be their first visit to the mound. Blue Devils with 1 out and 1 on here in the bottom of the first inning. The Saints went 3 up, 3 down. Hopkins popped out into shallow center field to the second baseman, Basler. Baffa and Cartwright both struck out. Turned over the half inning to the Blue Devils. Basler grounded out on hard hit. Ball back to the pitcher. Gerber knocked it down and underhanded over to Juarez for the out. Then Goldbeck with the double into the right field corner. Turn back to second. Nothing going on back there. Two and two the count. That's low and outside, so the count goes 3-2 on Patterson. It's going to be a ball down. Goldbeck moves over to third, had to wait, so that's going to be a base hit by Patterson. Little flare out into left center. That's going to bring up Jace Woida. Woida starts the day batting .405. He was 2 for 3 on the day yesterday with a base hit, a sac fly, and a grand slam home run in the fifth. That ball's a little bit low. 1-0 the count. Runners at the corners. 1 out. Goldbeck at third. Patterson at first. Wood at the plate. There's a pitch, just misses outside. Gilbert with an effort to bring that back to look like a strike, but unsuccessfully. 2-0 the count. Wood to the first baseman. That's down low. So 3-0 the count. We'll see if Boyda has the green light here. I'm guessing he's thinking fastball down the middle, or I'm taking. And that's inside. Not sure if that hit him or nope, just ball 4. So a base on balls to Boyd, and that's going to bring up Frankie Santiago. Santiago will step in. He starts the day batting .349. Switch hitter, he will step in on the left-handed side, as did Basler. 2 switch hitters for the Blue Devils. So the bases are full of Red Devils. Nope, Blue Devils. And there's a strike outside corner. It's been a long time since I've been down at Coffeyville, where oldest son played there. The Red Devils, I believe, down there. 0-1 the count. That must have missed just a little bit outside. That's a pretty good pitch right there. I believe it to be 2-0. He didn't strike that one. We'll see if I'm right or wrong here in a moment. I didn't think he called it, but I thought it was. There's a high fly ball to deep right. That's going to be a sac fly, and Goldbeck will score on the sac fly by Santiago. So that'll bring up Freddie Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth starts the day batting .336. He was 3 for 4 on the day yesterday. Had a base hit for an RBI and a couple of doubles. One of those doubles had an RBI. So 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a single and 2 RBI did Nolan the fourth yesterday. 2 outs now with runners at the corners. Patterson over at third. Boyd at first. There's a strike called. 0-1 the count. Low and outside and headed and going to come back and tag the plate. So Boyd goes to second. They throw down in the return throw. The catcher, Gilbert, could not handle it. It would have been an out provided the ball was handled. So the run is scored by Patterson. 1-1 the count now on Nolan the fourth. Swing and a miss. Foul ball actually into the glove of the catcher, Gilbert. 1-2 the count. Runner at third is Woida. That's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runs in on 2 hits so far for the Blue Devils. A lot of 2s on the board. In the dirt, nicely blocked by Gilbert. So the count goes full on Nolan the fourth. He's the left fielder. Comes the 3-2. And that's low for ball 4. That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks starts the day batting .397. He was 2 for 4 on the day yesterday, had a double and a single with a stolen base. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Dirks lays down the bunt and it's foul. Comes back up and hit him while he was in the box, so a foul ball. Owen won the count. Dirk's the right fielder. 2 runs in so far. Runner goes, gonna throw down again. And out at second. So Nolan, the 4th, is caught stealing, but the Blue Devils get 2 runs on 2 hits. We go to the top of the 2nd inning. Blue Devils lead 2-0. All right, here we go to the top of the 2nd inning. Wakui will be up first. He's the designated hitter. He was 1 for 3 on the day yesterday. Had a base hit and a couple of ground outs into shallow right field to Basler. That misses outside. 1-0 the count. Wakui starts the day batting .391 to face Mason Davenport. That misses a little bit low. 2-0 the count. Wakui, Hagelpitt, and Pitton scheduled up for the Seward Saints. Strike outside corner at the knees. 2-1 the count. Swing and a miss. 2-2 the count now as Wakui leads off the top of the 2nd inning here. This is a 9-inning scheduled game in the playoffs to go to Wichita. There's a ball right back up the middle. Just about took off Davenport's backside, so a base hit by Wakui right back up the middle, and that's going to bring up Hagelpitt. Hagelpitt was 1 for 3 on the day, had a strikeout, a fly out, and a base hit yesterday. He starts today batting .315. Got her at first base. Nobody out. Little toss over to first. Wakui, the designated hitter, back in easily. Swinging a miss of the high heater by Hagelpitt. Hagelpitt, the 3rd baseman. 0-1 the count. Had a pickoff play at first for the first toss. There's strike on the outside corner, so quickly 0-2 the count. Foul ball headed over the first base dugout and out of play. Over into the woods behind the first base dugout. So we'll do the 0-2 again. Mason Hagelpit in tight on the plate. Foul ball back to the screen. Generally have 0-2 counts, not that close to the strike zone, but nonetheless, 4 strikes to Hagelpit so far, and he's fouled 2 of them away. Wakui down at first after the leadoff base hit. Just misses a little outside. 1-2 the count. Brady Patterson was expecting a big punch out on that pitch right there. 1-2 now the count. As a ball headed into right field. Going to be just move up. So the base hit by Hagelpit into right field. And that's going to bring up the right fielder, Pitton. Pitton starts the day batting .283. He was 0 for 3 on the day yesterday. Popped out a couple of times and hit into a 5-4-3 to end the game. First pitch to him, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Saints of Seward Community College got a little business going here. Davenport trying to pitch out of it. Here comes the 0-1. Foul ball back to the screen so quickly. 0-2 the count on the right fielder, Keegan Pitton. Mason Davenport on the mound. There, that ball misses outside. I may have messed something up on you with a walk there, so 1-2 the count, nobody out. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be cut off by Basler, but nobody at first. Wojda came out to try and field the ball. So back-to-back base hits, and the Seward Saints are in business here. Is it going now? So the bases are all full of Saints, and that's going to bring up Juarez. Juarez, the first baseman. He was 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out yesterday. Starts the day batting .253. There's a ball headed into center field. That's going to be a base hit to score a run. So Juarez with the base hit to center field, and he gets the Saints on the board, makes the score 2-1. That's going to bring up Mason Gilbert, so 4 base hits in a row. Gilbert will step in. Gilbert was 0 for 2, reached on an error and struck out yesterday. Gilbert starts the day batting .264. Strike outside half of the plate at the knees. So 2-1 the score now. Cut the lead in half, did Juarez with that base hit. That pitch just a little bit low. 1-1 the count. Bases still full of Saints. Still nobody out. Blue Devils could use a line drive right at somebody or a hard hit ground ball right at somebody. There's a ball gets past the catcher, and that's going to tie things up. So Gilbert at the plate. Coach Goldbeck going to go out and visit with things a minute here. So all tied up at 2-1 the count. Gilbert at the plate. Take a short break. We'll be back. All right, words of wisdom delivered on the mound by Coach Goldbeck. Runners at second and third, still nobody out. Mason Gilbert, the catcher, at the plate. 2-1 the count. That misses outside. 3-1 the count. The last pitch I would consider a pass ball. One of the things that I'm not a fan as a 67-year-old catcher is that little half splits thing. You get a ball outside you can't reach, and there's a swing and a miss, so 3-2 the count. Three balls, two strikes, nobody out. Runners at second and third, all tied up at 2 here in the top of the second inning. The breaking ball and reaches out and fouls that away, does Gilbert. So a nice job of keeping alive by slapping that curveball foul. So we'll do the 3-2 again. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. That's the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Rainey. Rainey was 1 for 2 on the day yesterday. He hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and then in the 6th had a base hit. He starts the day batting .282. Comes the first pitch to him. Breaking ball gets back across to the strike zone. Connor Rainey, he's the center fielder for the Saints. 0-1 the count on him. Just a little bit low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Comes the 1-1. It's a high heater swung at and missed. So 1-2 the count. Comes the 1-2, and he fouls that away. That ball's headed for the woods or the soccer field, one of the two. We'll do the 1-2 again. Number 9 hitter, Connor Rainey for the Saints. High and inside. So 2-2 the count. That's up high. So 3-2 the count now. Hopkins in the on deck circle. He led things off for Seward. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The stretch and the pitch from Davenport, and a foul ball just gets a piece of it, does Rainey. So we'll do the 3-2 again. That ball got a piece of Patterson, but seems to be okay. We'll do the 3-2 again. Ball with the swing and the miss. So 4 back-to-back base hits. Get a run on a pass ball and an RBI on one of those hits. Then back-to-back strikeouts and back to the top of the order and Hopkins. Hopkins is from Parker, Colorado. Popped out to Basler his first time up. There's a curveball, stays up and in. Want to know the count? Nathan Hopkins, the shortstop. At the plate for the Saints. We're all tied up at 2 here. Top of the second inning action. 9-inning scheduled game. There's a ball headed into left field. That's going to be taken care of by Nolan the fourth. So the Saints get 2 runs on 4 hits. We go to the bottom of the second inning, all tied up at 2. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Dirks, Mervosh, and Kern scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Dirks was 2 for 4 on the day yesterday. Reached on a fielder's choice, had a strikeout and a double and a single. There's a ground ball right back up the middle. So Dirks with the base hit right back up the box. That's going to bring up Mervosh. Mervosh will step to the plate with a runner at first base and nobody out. Mervosh was 2 for 5 on the day yesterday. Had a couple of base hits and a couple of ground outs and a fly out. Starts the day batting .337. Runner at first, nobody out. Runner bluffs going and a strike called on Mervosh. 0-1 the count on the third baseman, Jackson Mervosh. The runner goes and Mervosh hits a 2-hopper to the shortstop who got back in time to get that one. So a 6-3 ground out. And Dirks end up at second base instead of a possible double play. So I believe the hit and run to be on. That's going to bring up Brady Kern. Kern was 2 for 3 on the day yesterday, was hit by a pitch and had a couple of base hits. There's a strike right through there. starts the day batting 3-8. He's up there with 1 out, and Dirks at second base. Stays a little bit inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The ball headed to the right side. Baffa up with it and over to Juarez for the second out of the inning. So Dirks moves over to third. Back to the top of the order, and Basler. Basler will step in. Basler is from Lansing, Kansas. He grounded back to the pitcher on a hard hit ball. On the left-handed side, facing the righty. That's a ball, misses outside. Basler hit it hard on a one-hopper, and Gerber had it off the end of his glove, ran it down, and tossed it to Juarez for the first out of the game. There's a ball headed into left center. That's going to be an RBI base hit for Basler. The Blue Devils get a run so far in this one with 2 outs now. It's going to bring up Goldbeck. Goldbeck is from Kansas City, Kansas. He had a double into the right field corner his first time up. Scored on the sac fly by Santiago. Little toss over. Nothing going on over there. Basler and Goldbeck, always a threat to run. There's a strike called on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. There's other people on the Blue Devils that are apt to steal, but especially your 1 and 2 hitters. Dirks and Kern fall in that category. That's way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Basler with the RBI base hit to left center with a 2-out hit there to put the Blue Devils back up 3-2. There's a foul ball off the face of the dugout. Had some of the Blue Devils ducking over here in the dugout. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first. Runner goes, and Goldbeck fouls it down into the workout area. Might see it better there, the workout area. You see all the balls down there in the cages. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Runner goes, and there's a hit right up the middle. Coach puts the brakes on over at third base on Basler, so Goldbeck with the base hit. Back up the middle. That's going to bring up Patterson. Patterson is from Auburn, Kansas. He had a base hit to left center his first time up. He's up there with 2 outs, runners at the corners. There's a strike. Breaking ball catches the knees right down the middle. 0-1 count. Patterson, the catcher. Runner goes, and a check swing ruled a strike. So the stolen base by Goldbeck. 0-2 the count on Patterson. Blue Devils leading 3-2. Bottom of the second inning action. There's a ball headed deep to left center, and that's going to be out for a home run. So Patterson with the 3-run homer. Patterson gets all of that to left center for 3 runs, puts the Blue Devils up 6-2. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He reached on a base on balls his last time up. Turns on that ball and rifles it down between the umpire and Coach Sharp down at first base. Oh, and 1 the count on Woida. That's outside. 1-1 the count. That's down low. Ball misses. 3-1 the count now on Jace Woida. There's ball 4. So Woida with back-to-back walks. He'll be down at first base with Santiago coming up. Santiago had a slack fly to right field his last time up. Santiago is from Calle, Puerto Rico. He'll be up there with 2 outs and a runner at first base. There's a ball headed into deep right center. And that's going to be extra bases, sending Woida toward home, and Woida across the plate, and that is an RBI double by Santiago to the wall in right center. Puts the Blue Devils up 7-2. Going to get a visit to the mound. Blue Devils leading here 7-2. We'll be back. Tyler, will you see if you can tell who? You probably can't see the guy warming up. All right, back to the contest. Nolan the 4th, the number 9 hitter, to come to the plate. Elias Herrera, number 18, warming up in the bullpen for the Saints. Two and 0 the count on Nolan the 4th. Santiago at second base with 2 outs. Blue Devils have scored all the runs, 5 runs here with 2 outs here in the inning. Had a base hit, a couple of ground outs, and then all the hits started happening. There's a strike called. Had a base hit, a ground out to short into second, and then base hit for an RBI, base hit, home run, base on balls in double. And just like that, go from a tie game to being up by 5. There's a strike called. Catches the inside corner. So 3-2 the count. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Saints of Seward, and 7 runs on 6 hits for the Blue Devils. Just misses. Actually called strike 3. I'm not a big fan of the big delayed call, but nonetheless a strike 3 called. The Blue Devils get 5 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. And they take a 7-2 lead as we go to the top of the third. I'll be back. Thanks for joining me. Tyler, if you want that changed up there, I have 7 runs on 7 hits. No worries, just yep. All right, to the top of the third we go. Todd Baffa, then Cartwright and Wakui scheduled up. Baffa is from Keller, Texas. He'll step in as he leads off the top of the third for the Saints. He struck out his first time up. Breaking ball, and he fouls it into the net. Owen won the count. That's outside. Top of the third inning action. Mason Davenport, a.k.a. Dave, from Tonganoxie, Kansas, on the mound for the Blue Devils. There's a ball headed into shallow left field, and Goldbeck goes out on the grass about 20 feet or so and takes care of that. It's going to bring up Cartwright. Cartwright is from Parker, Colorado. He struck out his first time up also. There's a breaking ball right across there for strike 1 called. Comes the 0-1. Breaking ball down in the dirt. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. There's a ball headed to deep left. Could be trouble, and That is out of here for the solo home run by Cartwright. Cartwright cuts the lead to 7-3. That's going to bring up Kotoro Wakui. Wakui is from Nagato, Japan. I missed broadcasting that yesterday when he hit. I apologize. 0-1 the count. Swing and a miss of that pitch. About came out of his shoes on that one. 0-2 the count on Katari Wakui. Breaking ball stays outside. 1-2 the count. 7-3 the lead now after that home run by the left fielder Cameron Cartwright. There's a ground ball right back at Davenport. And Davenport over to Woida for the 1-3 ground out. So Wakui hit it hard, but a one hopper back to the 6-9 Davenport and over to first for the out. That's going to bring up Mason Hagelpit. Hagelpit will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Hagelpit is from Arvada, Colorado, and he swings and misses on that first offering by Davenport. Hagelpit had a base hit his first time up. Not sure where that missed one, but ruled a ball. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs to the third baseman, Mason Hagelpit. Missed outside, 2-1 the count. Mason Davenport on the mound saying, things seem to have tightened up. And there's a breaking ball that does miss outside. So 3-1 the count. And Hagelpit. The ground ball going to be charging his Mervosh. And over to first base for the 5-3 ground out. So the Saints get 1 run on 1 hit, and we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Blue Devils leading 7-3. All right, to the bottom of the third we go. Dirks, Mervosh, and Kern scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Dirks will lead things off here for the Blue Devils. Dirks is from Kansas City, Kansas. There's a strike outside half of the plate at the knees. He had a base hit right back up the middle his first time up. That misses for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. swears to bunt and going to be picked up foul by the catcher. Gilbert waited for that bounce to come out wide and then grabbed it while it was foul. So 1-2 the count now on the right fielder, Marcus Dirks. Misses just a little bit outside. I have to wait a little bit to be sure that that's not going to be a delayed punch out. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Foul ball back to the screen. So we'll do the 2-2 again. Trent Gerber back for his 3rd inning of work. Another foul ball back to the screen. 7th pitch of the at-bat. 4th. 2-2 the count. Gerber's from Nazareth, Texas. That's inside low and a punch out. I'm not a fan of the delayed call. I guess I'll have to start waiting a little longer. So the punch out of Dirks, and that's going to bring up Mervosh. Mervosh will step in with 1 out and nobody on. Mervosh is from Lenexa, Kansas. There's a strike called, 0-1 the count. Foul ball back to the screen. So quickly down in the count is Mervosh to Trent Gerber of the Saints. The Seward Saints. The Seward Saints trying to send it to game 3. There's a ground ball headed up the middle. Diving stop by the shortstop Hopkins. That's a nice diving play on his part, but not able to get the throw over in time. So an infield hit for Mervosh, and that's going to bring up Kern. Kern will step in with 1 out and 1 on. Kern is from Lawrence, Kansas. And bunt attempt there. And foul. Oh, and 1 the count. Runner at first base is Jackson Mervosh. Bluffed the throw down to first, did Gilbert. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. That's down a little bit low. 2-1 the count. Comes the stretch and the 2-1 from Gerber. There's a base hit, rocketed into left field. And Cartwright up with it and in quickly. So back-to-back 1 out hits. Back to the top of the order, and Basler. Basler, as a switch hitter, will stay on the left-handed side with the right-handed Gerber continuing on the mound. Basler is 1 for 2 with a base hit and an RBI. In this one, he steps in with 1 out and runners at first and second. That's low and inside, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Partly cloudy day on the campus of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. There's a ball headed deep to right field, and that's going to be caught by the right fielder, Pitton. And moving over to third base on the play is Kern. So 2 outs now with runners at the corners. And that's going to bring up Goldbeck. Goldbeck is 2 for 2 on the day. Has a double and a single and a stolen base as well. He's up there with 2 outs and 2 on. There's a high fly ball into center field. Gauging that is Rainey, and Rainey's got it for the out. So the Blue Devils get no runs on 2 hits, and we go to the top of the 4th inning with the Blue Devils leading 7-3. All right, to the top of the 4th we go. Pitt and Juarez and Gilbert scheduled up for the Saints. Pitton steps in. Caden Juarez leading off, my mistake. Let me check these numbers here. We're about to find out. It is Keegan Pitton, the right fielder. He is from Greeley, Colorado. There's a pop-up on the left side. Coming in to take care of that is Mervosh. So that will bring up Juarez. Juarez is from Amarillo, Texas. That misses outside. Juarez had an RBI base hit in the 2nd inning to center field. So 1 for 1 is he. There's a breaking ball right through there. 2 balls and a strike. There's a ball headed right into right field. Suarez is 2 for 2 on the day. That's going to bring up Gilbert, the catcher. Gilbert is also from Amarillo, Texas. He struck out his first time up. There's a ball in the dirt, blocked nicely by Patterson. 1-0 the count. Down low for ball two, 2-0 the count. There's a strike outside half of the plate at the knees. 2-1 the count, 1 out, 1 on. Juarez with the 1 out base hit. He's down at first. There's a breaking ball headed deep to left field, and that's going to be taken care of by the right fielder, the left fielder, Nolan the fourth. So a long fly out down the left field line. That's going to bring up Connor Rainey. Rainey is from Pflugerville, Texas. He'll be up there with 2 outs and a runner at first. There's a ground ball, a couple of hops down to Woida, and he steps on the bag for the 3 unassisted ground out. So no runs on 1 hit for the Saints, and we go to the bottom of the 4th, leading 7-3. I'll be back. Thanks for being with us today. All right, to the bottom of the 4th we go with the Blue Devils leading 7-3. Brady Patterson will lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th. He's had a base hit and a 3-run home run in this one. He'll step in for his 3rd at bat against Trent Gerber. That's down low, a strike called. 0-1 the count. There's strike 2 at the knees outside half of the plate. So a couple of quick strikes on the outside half of the plate at the knees. And Patterson with the 0-2 count. There's a ball hit right back up the middle. So Patterson with the 2-strike base hit, and just like that, he is 3 for 3. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida had a grand slam in the game yesterday. Misses low and outside, 1-0 the count. Toss over to first. Defense behind Gerber is Cartwright, Rainey, and Pitton across the outfield left to right. Hagel, Pitt, Hopkins, Baffa, and Juarez left to right across the infield with Gilbert behind the plate. That's high and outside. Two and 0 the count. There's a base hit right into right field. So Woida back from his injury and swinging the bat well. So back-to-back base hits to lead things off. And that's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago has a sac fly for an RBI and a double for an RBI. So 1 for 2 with 2 RBI for Santiago. Nobody out. Runners at second. It's a ground ball headed to Baffa, and Baffa's up with that. And over to Juarez for the 4-3 ground out, but moves the runners up. So runners at second and third with 1 out. That's going to bring up Nolan. Reached on a base on balls in the first, was caught stealing, and then was called out on strikes in the second. That misses low and outside. 1-0 the count. Runners at second and third for the Blue Devils. Bottom of the 4th inning action. Turns on that one and whistles it by Coach and Patterson down by third base. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nolan the 4th, the left fielder at the plate. That's inside. 2-1 the count now. Blue Devils trying to punch their ticket to the NCAA Plains District in tournament in Wichita. The Saints trying to force a game 3 tomorrow. 3-1 the count now on Nolan the 4th. Comes the stretch and the 3-1 from Gerber. And that's going to be ball 4. So that's going to load up the bases for Marcus Dirks. Dirks, 1 for 2 on the day, has a base hit and a punch out. Called out on strike, so 1 for 2 on the day for him. He's up there with 1 out. Foul ball back to the screen. Oh, and 1 the count. So ball headed into left field. And that's going to be a sac fly for Dirks. So 8-3 now the lead after the sac fly by Dirks. Bring up Mervosh. Mervosh will step in. Base hit to left field. I had looked down to choose my camera, and that was a base hit by Dirks to left field. So I was wrong with that information there. So the bases are still loaded with just 1 out. The Blue Devils with 1 run in. Actually 2 runs in this inning. Maybe I can't see that. When I look through the screen just right, it looks like a 9 instead of an 8.
Oh, yeah?
Is that an 8? It's 67-year-old eyes. Don't worry about that. I'm talking about the scoreboard. That is 8-2, correct? Very good. I was looking at it, and the netting was taking part of that out, made it look like a 9. So bases loaded, 8-2 11-3 is the score, and that's going to bring up Mervosh. Mervosh will step in with one out, and the bases are still loaded. That's a low and outside, 1-0 the count. So the Seward coach to the mound to sort out what's going on here. 1-0 the count. 1 run in the inning so far. There, that's going to go foul. The catcher Gilbert saying, all right, Trent, stay back. That thing's got to go foul, and it does. I don't know that he could have grabbed it and been back to home base to beat Woida there. So probably a good choice to hope that that thing would go foul. Mervosh has grounded out and had a base hit. Base hit up the middle. Hopkins with the diving stop, but couldn't throw him out in time, and that ball's fouled back over to the softball field. Right into the the soccer field, and right into the backside of the net on the soccer field. So 1-2 the count now on the third baseman, Mervosh. Another foul ball headed for the same area. Nope, no goal on that one. But it's still 1-2 the count. Sun is back out on the right half of the field in the outfield, and the left side is still in the shade. 1-2 the count. There's a ground ball whistled, that thing right beside Coach's feet down at third base. So 1 out, 1-2 the count. Bases full of Blue Devils. How about one of those balls in the left field corner and watch the Blue 1-2 the count. Just missed a little bit low. That pitch looked pretty good to me, but ruled. So 2-2 the count now. Comes the 2-2. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be taken by the right fielder, Pitton, and the sac fly by Mervosh. For another run, and that makes it a 9-3 score. That's going to bring up Brady Kern. Kern has grounded out to second base and had a base hit. He'll step in with 2 outs, runners at the corners. Runner goes, going to fake the throw down to second.
So would that be a stolen bag, right? Even no throw?
Sometimes they list that as indifference to the defense because they don't want to give up that run. I would say in our stats it'll go as a stolen base, though. There's a ball right back up the middle. So 2 more RBI as Nolan the fourth and Dirks both score on that base hit by Kern. So 2 more RBI makes it 11-3 game. Back to the top of the order, Peyton Basler. We're going to get a visit to the mound. We now will get a pitching change. So we'll get that change and be back with you. We are in the bottom of the 4th inning with the Blue Devils leading 11-3. I'll be back. All right, the pitching change has been made by the Saints. Elias Herrera from Panama City, Panama, will go to the mound for the Saints. He has a 6.06 ERA with a 6-3 record. He comes in after 3 2/3 innings by Gerber. Runner headed to second base and safe at second base with the stolen base is Kern. Basler at the plate. He's 1 for 3 on the day, a ground out and a fly out to right, an RBI base hit. There's a strike on the outside corner at the knees. Two and one the count. Runner at second base. 11-3 lead. There's a ball headed right at the shortstop. Hopkins, he corrals it as Kern takes off from that spot for the final out of the inning. So the Blue Devils get 4 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. And we go to the top of the 5th inning with the Blue Devils leading 11-3. We have a pitching change. We'll get that information. We'll be back. Blue Devils leading. Donovan Johnson, 30. What? 4 boys, yeah. All right, pitching change by the Blue Devils. Donovan Johnson from Spring Hill, Kansas, goes to the mound for the Blue Devils. He'll take over from Davenport. He has a 5.91 ERA with a record of 5-1. First pitch is called a strike on Hopkins, the shortstop. He's been out on a couple of fly balls, 1 to second and 1 to center. That's a little bit low. 1-1 the count on the shortstop for the Seward Saints. Swing and a miss of that pitch. So 1-2 the count. Nolan the fourth, Kern and Dirks left to right across the outfield. Mervosh, Golbeck, Basler, Woida left to right across the infield. Patterson behind the plate. The defense behind Benson. 2-2 the count on Hopkins. Blue Devils with the 11-3 lead. 2-2 the count. Top of the fifth inning action. Breaking ball goes outside. So 3-2 the count. The ground ball, Mervosh up with it and loads up his rifle and shoots it on over to Woida for the 5-3 ground out. It's going to bring up Baffa. Baffa will step in for his first shot at Donovan Johnson. He's struck out and popped out into shallow left field to Goldbeck. Waited on that curveball and spoils it back into the screen. 0-1 the count. Todd Baffa, second baseman for the Saints. Breaking ball off the end of the bat. Over to the first base dugout. So quickly 0-2 the count on Baffa. Off the fist, Mervosh going to come over and take that slow roller in front of Goldbeck and over to Woida at first for another 5-3 ground out. That's Cartwright. Cartwright, the left fielder. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Struck out in the first inning, but in the third had a solo home run. Strike. Right down the middle. At the knees. 0-1 the count. And a swing. Tried to check but couldn't help it. So quickly 0-2 the count on Cartwright. Get him swinging right here on the curveball outside. Fastball down the middle for the swing and a miss. So a couple of ground outs to Mervosh and a strikeout for Donovan Johnson, and we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Blue Devils leading 11. All right, to the bottom of the fifth inning, Blue Devils leading 11-3. Goldbeck has a double, a single, and a fly out to center field. He'll be up there. 2 for 3 so far for the day. There's a strike right down the middle at the knees. Little slider action. 0-1 the count. Check swing inside. Ruled the ball. 1-1 the count. Goldbeck the shortstop. There's a ball headed at the shortstop. And Hopkins over to Juarez for the ground out. 6-3. So Goldbeck is out with a ground ball to his counterpart, Hopkins. Going to bring up Patterson. Patterson is 3 for 3 in this one. Had a base hit in the first, a 3-run home run in the second, and a base hit in the fourth. That's inside. Thought it might be a strike. He's in pretty tight on the plate. 1-0 the count on the catcher, Brady Patterson. There's a ball headed into left field. So 4 for 4 with 3 base hits and a home run for Brady Patterson. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida has walked twice and had a base hit into right field. Strike called, 0-1 the count. So, pardon me, everyone. Patterson lined out to left field, and then Woida with the fly ball to there as well. So, pardon me for I looked down to make the change of the camera and missed it. So 3 up, 3 down for the Blue Devils. A ground out by Goldbeck, and then a couple of fly balls to left field. We go to the top of the 6th inning. The Blue Devils leading 11-3. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the 6th inning we go. We're just a little over halfway on this one. It's going to bring up Wakui and Hagen. Pitton scheduled up for the Saints. Johnson back for another inning of work. A breaking ball right through there at the belt. Right through the heart of the plate with a breaking ball. Wakui has a base hit and a ground out back to the pitcher. 1 for 2. There's inside. 1-1 the count. Top of the 6th inning action. 9 innings scheduled game. Swing and a strike. 1-2 the count on Kotaro Wakui from Japan. Comes the 1-2 and a ground ball and foul over to the dugout. Way high and outside. 2-2 the count. Breaking ball, and he hits it to the second baseman, Basler, and over to Woida for a 4-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Hagelpit.
Next up is third baseman number 5, Mason Hagelpit.
Hagelpit will step in with 1 out and nobody on. There's a strike right through there. He's 1 for 2 on the day, had a base hit. Ended up scoring at that at bat and then grounded out to Mervosh at third. There's a high fly ball into center field. Underneath to take care of that is the center fielder, Brady Kern. Out and a fly out, 2 out now to Pitton. Pitton has a base hit and a pop out to Mervosh in foul territory. So 1 for 2 on the day for him. Breaking ball catches the inside corner. 0-1 the count. On the right fielder, Keegan Pitton. It's a heater inside part of the plate there. Swing and a miss, so quickly 0-2 the count. Breaking ball with the swing and the miss. So a ground fly out and a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Devils leading 11-3. All right, to the bottom of the 6th inning we go. Santiago, Nolan the 4th, and Dirks scheduled up. Elias Herrera back for another inning of work on the mound for the Saints. First pitch is outside to Frankie Santiago. That's outside again. Santiago has a sac fly for an RBI, a double for an RBI, and a ground out. So 2 for 3 with a couple of RBI is Santiago. Misses a little bit outside, so 3 outside pitches to the designated hitter, Frankie Santiago. There's ball 4. So a leadoff walk issued to Santiago and called out on strikes. So 0 for 1 on the day for Nolan the 4th. Down a little bit low, 1-0 the count. Nolan the 4th is the left fielder. Low and outside, so 2-0 the count. Six straight balls this inning for Herrera. That misses for ball 3. Three and 0 the count. There's a strike inside half of the plate at the knees. So 3-1 the count. Bottom of the 6th inning action. Nobody out. Runner at first base. There's a ground ball headed into left field. And heading for third is Santiago. The ball is there in plenty of time, but could not be handled by Hagel Pitt. And so the base hit by Nolan the 4th, and he moves up to second on the throw to third. So that'll bring up Dirks. Dirks will be up there with runners at second and third and nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning action. That misses a little bit outside. Dirks has a base hit, been called out on strikes, and another base hit with a stolen base and an RBI. So 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI and a stolen base. Ball back to the screen, so 1-1 the count. Blue Devils trying to finish this best of 3 series to go to Wichita for the regional tournament. Swing and a miss, so 1-2 the count. The Plains District tournament for the right to go to the World Series in Grand Junction. There's a ball missed, and that is going to be a pass ball. The strikeout, but the pass ball, and the runner goes down to first, and a run scores, making it 12-3. So a run in on that strikeout pass ball. That's going to bring up Mervosh. There's a toss over to first. Nothing going on over there. Mervosh has a ground out, a base hit, and a sac fly. So 1 for 2 with a sac fly and an RBI on the day for Mervosh. Swing and a miss of that pitch. 0-1 the count. Herrera on in relief of Gerber. Came in during the 4th inning with 2 outs, so Gerber goes 3 2/3. That's a breaking ball that stays up high. 1-1 the count. Runner starts to go, bluffs and comes back. Way outside, 2-1 the count. Mervosh should absolutely like to at least get a sac fly here. Something on the outfield grass would be good too. 2-1 the count. The third baseman, Jackson Mervosh, at the plate. Another toss over to first. Pretty convinced that Dirks will be off and running with the pitch. Runner goes. High fly ball into shallow center field, and not able to get to that, and safe at second. So Mervosh with the base hit on the bloop hit into center field, gets an RBI, makes it 13-3. That's going to bring up Brady Kern. Kern will step in with runners at first and second and nobody out. He's had a ground out and a couple of base hits. The base hit for 2 RBI. There's a strike outside half of the plate at the knees. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Nice job by Gilbert there to get the strike call on the help with that pitch. So quickly 0-2 the count on Kern. That's a little bit low. 1-2 the count. Fouls that back into the screen, does Kern. 1-2 the count on the Blue Devils center fielder. Dirks at second, Mervosh at first. That's down low again. So 2-2 the count. Foul ball down the right field line. That's going to be out of play. Headed down the hill. We'll do the 2-2 again. Way inside. Not sure how that didn't hit him, but it did not. So 3-2 the count. Comes the 3-2 and a swing and a miss for the first out of the inning. So back to the top of the order and Basler. Basler will step in now with 1 out. Runners at first and second. Basler is 1 for 4 on the day with a base hit and an RBI. Outside 1-0. There's a base hit headed into right field. Coach is going to hold the runner at third, so the bases will be loaded for Goldbeck. Goldbeck will step in with 1 out. Runners at all 3. The bases are full of Blue Devils. Goldbeck has a couple of hits and a fly out and a ground out. So 2 for 4 on the day. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. Oh, and 1 the count. 1 out. There's a ball headed at the second baseman. He'll step on the bag and get the fielder's choice. So 4 unassisted fielder's choice with a run in on that. And that's going to make it 14-3, and that's going to bring up Patterson. Patterson will step in. Patterson is 3 for 4 with a 3-run home run, a couple of base hits, and a line drive to left field that I mistakenly thought was down for a base hit. That's outside, 1-0 the count.
Charlie in there. They've used everybody in this show. League mystery. They hit the violin. Oh, Reed.
Swing and a miss of that pitch, 1-1 the count.
Aaron. Dolan. Gavin. 9-10. We don't know. 9-10. Oh, thanks for that.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. There's a foul back to the netting. 2. Three runs on 6 hits for the Saints, 14 runs on 16 hits for the Blue Devils. Curveball in the dirt, blocked nicely by Gilbert. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners at first and third. That's inside. So 3-2 the count. Patterson, the catcher, at the plate. Runner goes. There's a ground ball headed up the middle. Up with it is Hopkins with a nice play behind second base for the 6-3. And the Blue Devils get 3 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. Blue Devils need 3 outs. The Saints needs 2 runs to keep this thing going. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the 7th inning we go. Johnson back for another inning of work. Juarez, Gilbert, and Rainey scheduled up. Strike 1 the count on Juarez. He's had 2 base hits in this one with an RBI. The RBI came in the 2nd inning. He's up there 2 for 2. Foul ball off the end of the bat, out in front of that breaking ball. 1-2 the count. on the first baseman, Caden Juarez. Check swing. Shoots that one over toward his teammates in the first base dugout. Breaking ball way outside, so 2-2 the count on Caden Juarez, the first baseman, as he leads off the top of the seventh inning for the Saints. They need a couple of runs to keep this thing going. There's a high chopper that's going to be behind Woida, and Woida goes up and gets it, and Donovan Johnson comes over to cover for the 3-1 ground out for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Mason Gilbert, the catcher. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a fly out. That's down low for ball one. 1-0 the count. Breaking ball stays way up and in. 2-0 the count. Comes the pitch. That's down low, so 3-0 the count. On the catcher, Mason Gilbert. 3-0 the count. There's a strike. 3-1 now is the count. See if Johnson can fill it back up and get it out after the 3-0 count. There's strike 2. So from 3-0 to 3-2 on the catcher, Mason Gilbert. There's a ground ball off the foot. We'll do the 3-2 again. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Way high and inside for the base on balls. So that's going to bring up Rainey. Rainey has struck out and been out and assisted to Woida down at first. So 1 out and a runner at first base for. There's the fly ball to Nolan, the fourth, for the second out of the inning. So back to the top of the order, Nathan Hopkins is 0 for 3 in this one, a couple of fly outs and a ground out. He'll be up there with 2 outs and a runner at first. So the Saints down to their last out for the time being. And rather than throw that, so that's going to be a wild pitch for the runner to move to second. One and 0 the count. Nathan Hopkins, the shortstop at the plate. There's a ball headed up the middle. Golbeck's going to cut it off. Quick release over to Woida for the 6-3 ground out. The Blue 14-3 in 7. The Blue Devils will now travel down to Wichita, and the tournament will run May 15th through. Tonight is the X Stadium on the Wichita State University campus. we will go down and take part in the 2024 NJCAA Plains District Baseball Region Tournament, and the winner of that tournament will go to Grand Junction, Colorado for the Junior College Division I World Series. That is Memorial Weekend. So thank you for watching and or listening. We welcome you at any time to join us. We will look to cover that tournament down there depending on will be a broadcast. But check out 4tees.com. We will keep things on the website so you know when and where to watch. If you'd like to donate to the broadcast, go to 4tees.com. There's a donation page. All donations do go to the broadcast of Blue Devils baseball. So the Blue Devils win this one 14-3. They win 21-1 yesterday for the best 2 out of 3 to be able to go to Wichita. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you and talk to you next week.